like, I had some outside fixtures. They were like basically outside of my hip and pelvis. And it was like connected with a metal bar. And so the screws, they were like in my pelvis, connected, holding it together, and in the backside of the screw. And
Wow.
there was quite a gnarly experience because, as you sweet people may know, of course, this is like down there, it's like the root chakra. It's like where you have like also your sexual as well as your creative energy, and also where you push down your trauma. And so as this basically all broke, I felt very open and vulnerable, and know that I became aware that I have to not only heal myself in my physical form, as well as also like my spiritual and emotional, like, being, to bring that in alignment. And the funny process was that I had some friends visiting me in the hospital. I happened to bring some like tuning forks with them, and they just had different types of frequencies. And what we did, so we were like hitting this the tuning fork, and we were holding it against my the outside metal bars. And so the vibration, the frequency of the tuning fork was delivered through the metal into my bones, into my pelvis. So my pelvis was basically acting like a sound bowl, and I felt the frequency in the center of my pelvis, which was like, it felt like an orange fireball, like in someone, and so I'd done this a few times, and was just like, of course, like so amazed, because it also gave me a feeling of, like peace and balance. It was just like a soothing frequency. I just like, of course, felt this for a few moments, but I just felt it the first time. How does it feel like if vibration frequency enters your body? And so sure enough, about a week later, I was laying on something called the Sound Lounge, which was invented and created by Dr. Stephen Schwartz, who is pretty well known in the like LA, California, altogether, San Diego, Santa Barbara, like all over conscious community. He just was even recently in Mexico, and now he's like all over, like talking and about this wonderful product. Because what the Sound Lounge does, it has transducers built in, which are basically transferring vibration and frequency. And since we made 60 to 80% out of water, our body is very receptive for whatever like vibration and frequency comes from the outside, so our body, or the core of the water wants to flow, and so since I was like laying on that Sound Lounge, and there were like certain programs which were like able to kind of like all in all like soothe me, and also like support the healing in a way of like sorting and like decluttering the body, and like cells were like able to declutter. And so therefore I was able to like uplift my body and charge it up with like soothing frequencies, so that was basically the part how I came across the Sound Lounge, about like what vibroacoustic therapy is, what this is about. And so vibroacoustic therapy exists, or it's been like explored since the 1960s, and by a gentleman called like Olaf Skille. And he did a lot of like scientifically proven tests and studies, and was able to prove that certain frequencies can support different organs in our body, or can also support with other uneases, diseases. And for instance, it can support and help with like ADD, ADHD, autism, insomnia, or even like an all in all just relaxing state of mind and body. For instance, 40 hertz frequency is for relaxation and like, all in all, it's like soothing, like stress, anxiety release. And I always like use the example because 40 to 45 hertz frequency is the frequency of a purring of a cat. So just like imagine you lay on the big, cuddly, fuzzy, purring cat, and just like allow yourself to like drop into the experience I created. So if you gentlemen have a question in between, you can certainly ask it. Otherwise,
yeah, and it's beautiful what you're bringing up, and what you're describing is such a beginning path for so many healers on the earth. Is that usually we start with our own self-healing, right? Something happens or occurs in our life, and then we find a way to heal it for ourselves, and then we embody that healing and are able to then give it to others. So my question for you is, what other, you started this, you had this discovery of what the vibrational sound therapy can do for you, and then did you take other practices? Did you start to train yourself? Did you train under somebody in your studies to become, to learn it and embody it even more? Or has it been kind of a journey on your own?
Yes, it is, Jesse, indeed. I kind of like just put certain modalities and certain abilities of myself into one thing and created it. So I utilized the knowledge about vibroacoustic therapy, meaning, by the way, that I'm like certified by a very sweet and amazing lady named Kate Kunkel, and she does like online courses. And if someone is like later on like interested, you can direct message me, and I'd be happy to make the contact. Whoever is interested, just to learn about vibration frequency. She's definitely the one who like teaches, gives out like certificates so that a lot about the foundation of vibroacoustic therapy is all about. So I was interested about that, and then like right after my accident, I went to Germany, and of course I didn't really know what to do after the accident. But perhaps I knew now what the sound launch is capable to do, and also that there were like certain music which not necessarily always have a content of like healing frequency, but they have like a story to tell. They have something to deliver, because a lot of like musicians and artists, they put a lot of like emotions and personal feeling into a piece of art. This is like their way of sharing, whatever message they want to deliver, or what kind of feelings they would like to like share with their people, with their audience. And so I was an ecstatic dancer before, and they used to call me Sir Dance a lot for the accident.
That's awesome.
It's kind of funny. Anyways, so that was like a part of that, because I kind of felt, I feel the music in a different way. So since I love to dance, I feel into the music myself. So it's like kind of a meditation for me, dance. And so what I did then, as I went to Germany, I kind of was inspired just by different modalities I saw. So I saw like a lady who started giving me massage to music, but it was different type of music, which wasn't really, it was very repetitive, and it didn't really had like a soul. And I felt if I add some soul and I go into the music with my own emotion, my way of like feeling it, instead of like just dancing my whole body, I let the fingers dancing on the person, because I feel the music, and this is how I kind of express that. And music is extremely powerful in combination with vibration and frequency, because you can definitely go into this like relaxed meditative state, And the funny thing, then on the same evening, I saw like at the same event, I saw like a young guy, and he was like sitting on a massage table. It was like blindfolded, and there were two girls, and they played on this, like with a feather on his body, or like a little car driving, and so it was like a kind of play about like sensory deprivation. So I felt, of course, when you have like you don't see, and you just hear like a music or vibration or frequency. So there's only hearing and there's feeling. So you have these two components in combination together, so you can get into this meditative receptive state, because the sound launch supports the vibration and the frequency. It gives you that soothing feeling in your body. And yeah, and once you're like into this state where you allow yourself to really become receptive and your cells like declutter, then I apply my body work, which is kind of a complete, it's an addition to just vibroacoustic therapy itself. So I create sound journeys that I even use certain sounds from the outside. You know, I have a sound bowl. I use Native American shakers also to add to the way of like really like dropping into this sound journey. And then I have additional things I also utilize, you know, like lavender oil, like a diffuser, you know, where you like really allow yourself to drop into this experience, like drop into something, you know, you feel like, you know, it's soothing, it's relaxing, it's for you. And that I create that the cocoon, that I create that holding that space where people can allow, you know, to receive and also to come as you are and be as you are. That I just feel like I'm a catalyst and just support whatever person's coming from.
Yeah, I mean, reading your testimonials and hearing testimonials from the first retreat, the first spectrum retreat that you were, performing at. It's very, it's very clear that you really tailor your healing to the person that you're working with, right? You're very much in communion with that person's body, with that experience, the sound and the vibrations and of that person. And so, it seems like you really tap in to those deeper level waves of experience. And so, that's a cool thing. It's not just, you don't just go up there and do one specific motion or movement or massage. It is very much a tailored experience, right? That's a roundabout way of saying that, but yes.
Totally. I can definitely attest to that. Being a body worker for 25 years myself, I was pretty impressed, to say the least, on Sandreas's care of really curating the scene and the setting so that you're able to receive the best. And I've always known that receiving is an art in itself. So the more you can get someone to receive, the better the healing is going to be, the better the massage will be, or the Reiki, or just getting the healing that you need out of it. If you're tense the whole time, you're really energetically blocking. Even a massage, sometimes someone will be tense and you don't really want to push through it. You really want them to be able to breathe and relax and have that comfortableness to relax and receive the healing from the vibration, from the massage, from the sound deprivation, everything he does, from the spritzing of the lavender misting on you. It's amazing. And it opened my eyes to a whole new world of bodywork. And I love that I ran into Sandreas and got to try it for myself. I'm like, I got to try this. And it blew my socks off. Like literally, it was the best experience ever. I've had thousands of massages and I've given thousands of massages. So this is definitely a new way. And he definitely dances with his massage with you. And you can feel it. So you're in tune with the whole thing. It's really cool. I appreciate it so much. And I dare anyone to try it because you will love it. There's no doubt about that.
So Sandreas, so when you, have you, so much of vibration and frequency and embodying that is like really coming in communion with nature and the frequencies that exist all around us too. So is it just your experience with massage that has allowed you to come in such touch with this vibration, or have you had other journeys? Do you take other shamanic practices, or, what other experiences have you had in your life that have really helped you embody this feeling and this emotions?
Good question. Everything is frequency. We know that, what in the kind of environment we are, what we put into our body, what we eat, and kind of music we're hearing perhaps. And, when it comes to the nature, there's actually a good example. I'm sure everyone knows about, the ayahuasca, and tried, like, feel like know about like the ayahuasca, like in the South American like ceremonial way, where you prepare yourself, having a dieta before, and when it comes to the point where you do the ceremonies, that you are so, when you follow the dieta, that your body is very pure and clean. And then if you drink the ayahuasca, this mixture, this brew, this which is it is basically you're drinking the frequency and the vibration of the plant.
Mm-hmm.
And because the vibration is so powerful, and it comes from Mother Gaia, it comes from Mother Earth, and it's really powerful. What happens to me was I felt the frequency, and was like sitting by the fire, just even my body, my knees were like had the frequency, they were like vibrating. And the funny part is then I was like looking over to another gentleman next to me who also had his eyes closed, and he had this like blanket over his head and just by the fire, and he had the exact same vibration, the exact frequency in his body. You felt it in the way of like that your whole body felt like being hugged by nature. And so that was like, it's just like my personal experience, and my way of like how I have a relationship to ayahuasca.
Mm-hmm.
And it always like reminds me of doing this. Like that's why I also do this in a very most ceremonial way. Since I've been because I was like from Germany, and I'm adopted by a Native American family in my grown-up years and initiated with an eagle feather. And so I trust and love the way of the people, the connection to nature. And to me, the natives, they know so much to tune into their environment. So for them, a lot of things are frequency. So I'm happy that I'm like able to kind of deliver this to the world, to be receptive to things like that, opening for vibration, opening frequency, creating awareness and holding space.
Yeah, holding that beautiful space, and you do it so well, brother. And the world thanks you for what you do.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, like even just the space that you created, everyone was just gathering around the vibrational frequency of the music and there wasn't I shouldn't call it a performance. Your healing hasn't even started yet, and people are just sitting there just soaking in the vibrations and just being a part of, and just feeling the emanation that comes from you, and how many years have you been in practice, brother? When was your accident? How many years ago was that?
My accident was about 3 years ago. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I had a certificate back in Germany, like, in the beginning of my 20s. And I went through some like school there, and, like even the private schools, they're like really like, there's some good people out there. They know how to apply body work and like have different techniques. And I learned there like some of what the Thai were doing, as well as the like art of the Lomi Lomi technique, which has like the lower arms. So I knew some of those things already before I even know that I'm going to end up what I do right now. But this was just like the foundation. And then exactly after my accident, I utilized the knowledge and I combined it. So I combined this techniques of massage and body work with Tai Chi, the movement of Tai Chi, as well as martial arts. I have like a background of different types of martial arts, so I know about how to be your core and the movement, and the way how you hold yourself connected to earth and do the movement. And the little touch is my ecstatic dance background. So it's a mixture of all of those backgrounds and passions. And so this is how I create that. This is how I create my technique, in combination how I feel, hear, and receive the music. And so therefore the person lays down, however receptive person is like, or the body to my touch, I it's basically like an empty canvas at first, and then it's my muse. The body becomes something what I like feel like touching or like feeling into that. And this is like kind of this is the combination of the vibration and music. And so it's like a flow. It's like allowing on this, like floating on the same wave of vibration, frequency, and emotions according to the music, while like sharing, like telling a story and telling a journey. It's like allow yourself like to let go of your mind, go into your heart, into your body, into your soul, and allow to be receptive and vulnerable, open, open for journey, open for love, open, to feel you within. And this is the space I'm creating. So I don't consider myself even like saying yes, there's a healing part I do. And I wouldn't say it for me, like I consider myself as a space holder, as you were saying, Jesse, like you come and however receptive and open you are for, feeling this is my time, and I'm open, I'm ready to receive, I'm ready for, like abilities like that, alternative healing modalities, being open, being receptive, and surrender to the experience, and allow yourself, to receive.
Yeah, you're a divine vessel for the healing. I mean, we call ourselves, spectrum healers, but we also understand that we're just vessels for the healing. It's not innate inside of us. It's spirit running through us. But our ability to vibrate and balance our pillars, our mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, that allows us the ability to be the vessels for that, right? And so in a sense, we call ourselves healers in some sense, right? Because we're embodying that vibration so that we can be in service to others, right?
Holding the space, the container of here, come as you are. We provide what we have to offer, what are our calling, our purpose, our superpowers, something what we like here. They're powerful to share, and that's what I feel like is our way of like as I was like saying that, also the ambassadors of what we are, what we present, what we be, what we believe in, what we feel sharing.
That's what I was just gonna say. Basically, Sandreas lives this. Like everything that he does in life supports this healing modality, and you can tell. And it emanates from him. He's always setting up to do a meditation before and after and during, and in his conversations, it's very grounding. So he really lives it. It's not like he's, and there's nothing wrong with it. He doesn't have another modality he does. So he's 150% about the vibrational theory, sound healing,
200,
and therapy.
200%.
Yeah, 200%. Like it's off the charts. And I know you do meditations beforehand, and you help walk through the journey with your client before and make them feel comfortable so that they can relax even more. Because this is a newer type of modality, like you said, it's custom. Could you tell us a little bit about different journeys or different experiences people have when they get off the table? Because I know everyone receives it differently.
Yeah. I have to kind of wet my throat a little bit. That's also again like everyone like comes in there are different parts or different places in their journey.
Spectrum.
Yes. And so I had extremely profound like journeys where people really like knew that they're like that certain traumas came out of that experience, like physical traumas connected to emotional traumas, but at the same time allowing the release of that, knowing it's okay, knowing it's beautiful to let that happen, to surrender. It's okay, I'm aware of that, I'm gonna let go, because this is what's about. Like we also are doing this like breathing technique in the beginning of this session that I apply some peppermint spray, which you like breathe in and put it in your mouth, and you just like kind of like consciously just like breathe in a couple of times. Just open the lungs, open the wings, just like let the oxygen flow into your body, and just like be aware of what just the breathing, the breath, how powerful that can be, just like to ground you and to support you, you know, to get grounded by itself. And then yeah, so that can be like that also, or it can be also a very like essential experience as well, a sensual journey where it happens, you know, that you, for instance, that you, if you're a woman, that you can allow to like drop into your feminine in a safe container, you know, meaning, you know, you allow yourself to be loved, to be nurtured, to be appreciated, to be worshipped. And yeah, so like, hey, it's like, it's okay. It's like the way of like, yes, you know, thank you for, you know, like being there, and also just show up, yeah, for yourself, saying like, then, and I'm just creating that container. And also sometimes for people, it can be just like a fun ride, a fun journey where people, oh, that was cool music, I love it. I just like, I pass out, fall asleep at some point, which is also one of the compliments for every body worker, right, gentlemen?
Yes, for sure.
And then pass out.
If you fall asleep, then I did my job.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's a different variety of like where how someone comes. But to me, it's always like the same way. It doesn't matter where I go. It's always the same way of the space I'm holding, even though that there's like a complete different environment. Perhaps I always prefer and also suggest the one-on-one sound launch sessions, was actually also like a way of a wellness experience, a wellness retreat, because I do like a creative foot bath, like a detox foot bath and a foot massage, also just like to ground someone who comes, you know, not like just like, hey, just lay down, relax, I'll be there in a minute or so. It's just also for me, you know, I'm introducing my energy to someone and ground the person and ground myself also, like, hey, this is me, how you doing? Welcome, you know, you're here now. So I start to create that bubble, you know, where people are able to open up and to release and to, yeah.
Quantum healing, a quantum healing bubble.
The quantum healing bubble, yes.
I mean, we create a healing space, and that's how the quantum healing happens, and then in that healing container. And that's something I don't know if it's not overlooked, but it's just not always consciously acknowledged. That when we are in these safe containers that we've created, you know, through breath work, through grounding, through meditation, through sound and vibration, and that's what we're essentially doing. We're alchemizing the space around that person's energy body, right?
Yeah. It's important. And then also like it's a calibration, like you calibrate yourself, and then after the session, for the most part, I always like suggest just get home, get comfortable, or, you know, draw yourself a bath, just, you know, be in the space and the vibration of fine, you know, be with your loved ones, and share that. And just like also like when there are like these stressful moments in life, that just really allow yourself to remember, like we have this memory effect of our body, that be like, oh wow, I've been there once, this is how it feels, you know. And that's why I always like say, you know, like always remember when you like go out and be there all for you people, for the people you care about, you love, and you want to like be there and protect and hold space. And I always say that even if you have this big heart, or remember, there's always a VIP area reserved only for you, you know. And then I also add the joke to it, perhaps that I'm the one who's standing there in this VIP area, you know, with the sound lounge, you know, and say, welcome, it's time for your personal journey. Are you ready for a ride?
That's right. For anyone that's on the call right now that has a question for Sandreas, feel free to raise your hand or type in, or we can bring you on the video as well to ask Sandreas a question about his healing modalities, or maybe an experience that you've had with him. You can share as well.
Yeah, and it's also good to remember that Sandreas is going to be at the next Spectrum retreat in October in Julian, California, and he'll be providing one-on-one sessions as well as a workshop demonstrating how he does what he does. And that's what I was talking about. Everyone was just gathering around and emanating this vibration that Sandreas provides. It's quite palpable. I mean, it's amazing what you do, brother. And the space that you hold grows and grows and grows, and you can feel it as you approach this ceremony, you know? It's an incredible amount of space you hold, brother. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, that's also what I like to thank you. Yes, I will be there. And first of all, also like we do also serving hape together. Jesse, that's also a cool thing. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too, man. That's right. Yeah, we're gonna do some hape ceremonies in the fire. And I love you joined me in the fire purification ceremony last time too. It was just wonderful. So I think we're gonna do those all in a nice session. We'll have a hape ceremony, we'll have an intention setting, and we'll have a fire purification journey where we can burn off all the things that don't serve us right at the beginning of the weekend, right?
Totally. I can't wait.
Yes, and what I wanted to add to it, like when it comes to the few sweet, beautiful people want to make sure to be there when I like do the demonstration or do the performance, because it's also not only like a demonstration of the way like how I do it, as well as also like an inspiration for to utilize music in combination with touch. That there's like, I actually also give workshops about that, when I have actually 2 of the sound lounges, and then I have like a whole vibrational bed, and there where the abilities are, you can even interact with one another. I provide, the music and the frequency, and you just kind of explore like a sensuality, how music is able to get you into this very present state where you like just be with one another and just be with the music, and then perhaps of course the vibration, the frequency does its thing, to drop into this experience, into this bubble. And this is like this is also a way of like showing me, hey, this is like a part of a healing modality which can be utilized for what I do, but also for different other things, for like acupuncture or other physical like therapists or like massage therapists. They can utilize their sound launch for their own profession or for their own passion, and whatever they want to share with their superpowers and the healing abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. You're touching on something that's so important about the retreats in general, and that is that when we all gather together in this container, we're not only like giving the healing, but we're also receiving so much healing. And so we're sharing knowledge and getting knowledge, where it is a growth for everyone that's involved. It's like, I think that's one of my favorite parts about teaching or performing, providing a workshop, is that every time I do it, I learn something new from the people that I'm teaching, right? And
we're all part of the program.
Always a teacher and always a student, right? Like
You said it, Jesse. Yes, like students and teachers in life, and that's the thing. We're being aware, we're learning, we're open, receptive, allowing ourselves a different perspective. Just seeing things. That's why I like to always it's like one of the phrases of what's his name, Lil Wayne. He sings in one of the songs, if you pay attention, attention pays you. And I say the currency doesn't always have to be money. It's just like, it's knowledge, it's awareness. You'll be ready. Once the student is ready, the teacher appears.
We are the currency, brother. We're the currency.
We are the currency. That's correct.
Sovereignty, brother. It's the sovereignty that we have inside of that safe space in there you're talking about, dude. That space for yourself. That's the currency, dude. That's it.
100%. Also, what I love about your massage, maybe you can enlighten us a little bit more. Where are you getting these musical tracks? I mean, there's some deep, like, tribal bass, and just you feel your whole body just feels it like to the core of you. So when you're on the table and you hear it on your ears and you have deprivation over your eyes, it's amazing. What tracks are you using? Are these all custom tracks? Are you finding them as you go and just picking them?
Yeah, it's nice for the most part. It's pick and choose, and a way of that I have like a specific ear, how I know how the sound launch feels. And so when I'm like on the search in search engines, or like of course like SoundCloud,
You're like, ooh, that one will be good. Like, oh, that bass line's really good. I want that one. Yeah.
Yes, there is something to it, and I have like my speaker with me, and just like even if I have that and I'm holding on this with my finger just on that side, and I feel like the vibration and the bass, I know just through my finger, I know exactly how my sound launch, how this is gonna feel on the sound launch. So, and then what I do also have a little like a mixer, which basically allows me to switch between two like iPads, where I can add like, you know, for instance, on that side here, what you hear right now, this one called the cell cleanser, which has its vibration and its frequency, and on the other channel are Tibetan sound bowls. You know, so, and what I do, what you're not like hearing here, I sync those together so that it will be, and hear it on the headphones, as well as like feeling the sound launch. So what I do sometimes, I choose certain tracks, and underneath I'm adding additional frequencies to it. You know, so to just like to support the journey. And yeah, so it's like for the most part, I have, I mean, if you're interested on SoundCloud, I have like my account there's the Sandreas Experience, and I have just like a few playlists which are public. You can just like look it up and hear about it, and sometimes I publish just more, so you can find the artists, which music I'm utilizing. So it's, I call it, for the most part, I call it organic electronic music, but it's also world music. It's you know, like Indian modern style, as well as Native American tribal, and then again, like, you know, a lot of like lower like frequencies, and just like Geometra, for instance, is like one of the artists I'm using. So they have like constant frequency already built in their music. And then
are some of them already tuned to like 432 or 963 hertz and all this? Some aren't.
Yes, I mean, they're not necessarily specifically for them, one of those tracks, but however, I'm always able, through the two channels I'm combining with each other, I can have those type of frequency running as well. For the most part, I use like the cell cleanser, I use like the 40 hertz frequency for stress release, as well as the 111 hertz frequency. It's an old ancient healing frequency, which I really strongly believe in. And they have, it's even like kind of an angelic chorus you hear, and it kind of really like drops you into this feeling like you're not here, you are somewhere else, you're like in heaven. You know, so this is just like my way of like how I create those sound journeys. Also according
custom.
to, yes, when I like do like the interview before, and we like have those the talk about, and you have the conversation, and I give like the foot bath, for instance, when I have one-on-one session. And so just like to tune in, and so then I know where the person's at, and according to that I utilize certain tracks there, like cater or like support certain emotions, feelings, frequencies. And just telling a story, and allow like creating that space where, if there's an emotional release, or if there's, you know, something to let go of, or something just like to identify yourself, because it touches an emotion, it touches a feeling, it brings you there, it takes you there, you know. And so to me, it's like a way of like, it's immersive, it just drops in, and then slowly I get the person out of the experience again, slowly, because it's a very vulnerable and gentle space, you know, which, you know, can be created. So I have to be careful to, you know, make sure, okay, it's over now, you know, and go back.
Don't go drive your car right away, kind of relax, have a glass of water and some tea, maybe take a nap.
Yes.
I've seen you do it before, where even with myself, where you're like, hey, take a good 15 minutes, just you're already kind of almost, you're in a like REM, almost like you're in and out, and you're just like, hey, just take your time. And I really appreciate that, because sometimes people aren't ready to get up, and it can throw their equilibrium off and all that. So I really appreciate the custom effort you put into the whole thing, and then at the end letting them take their time to gather themselves and come back to the now. Yeah.
It's sometimes rough for me, like to kind of act according, like look at the clock, take it in there, because again, it's like a way of getting into the trance and getting into the way of like, that's why I like to do always like a certain amount of time. I mean, I cannot really tell like a sound launch journey or story in just 15 minutes. So it has to be at least, 20, 25, 30, if not like 45 for the most part. My one-on-one sessions there, at least like including the foot bath, the foot massage, it's like, it goes like between like 1.5 and 2 hours, it's
right. So I suggest that everybody listening to this call books you quick, because you're going to be booked up. I know you can do shorter, like micro sessions, which we'll be able to offer. But for your one-on-ones on Sunday, I think that people are going to be able to get the full experience, and we're excited for that. I know I'm signing up for sure. Hopefully you're coming early so I can squeeze one in.
With pleasure. Absolutely would love to. Yes, please come contact me also on Instagram as well as Sandreas Bodywork, and direct message me. There's also a direct link to my website. You can check out certain testimonials. Yes, if you have any questions until that, please feel free to contact me or these amazing two brothers here, which I'm very grateful. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're so blessed to have you and to know you, brother. And thank you for all that you provide. And I'm just looking so forward to the experience we get to share again in October. It's going to be wonderful.
October 14th, 16th, right?
Yeah, 15th, 16th, and 17th. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So we're going to be in Julian, California.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ready for my session right now. On the table right now. Let's go.
Oh, you
all the way from Germany, California to Germany in 2 seconds.
Yes.
Man, that was a quick flight. We just transcended time and space all at the same time. Well, brothers, do you want to help me close this out? And we put our hands up and we say, for every heart and every mind, and we bring them together and we thank, we bow our heads in gratitude. And we are so grateful for this journey. And so I give you all the love, everyone listening on the replay, and we hope to see you all at the retreat. And the love is just flowing already. I can feel it. The energy builds, and we're about to launch the schedule, and that energy is building. And I tell you what, Jason and I, we don't sleep for the 2 weeks going into the retreat, and it's awesome.
My eyes.
Yeah.
Do we have anyone? The bags under my eyes.
Yeah, some diffuser here.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Yes. I'm going to get a vibrational sound therapy right now.
Get this vibing going.
Thank you.
All the love, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.